The iPhone 15 Pro Max is the first new iPhone I have picked up in a long time that made me say wow. And that's thanks to a new titanium design that makes this big 6.7-inch flagship wonderfully light. Apple also managed to trim the bezels while making the phone shorter and narrower, resulting in a big screen beast that doesn't feel that big. There's a lot of other welcome upgrades to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, including a handy action button that lets you perform all sorts of shortcuts. You also get the world's first 3nm processor in the A17 Pro, which delivers console-like graphics, and there's finally a bigger 5x telephoto zoom to get closer to your subjects and close the gap with Samsung's Galaxy S23 Ultra. Not everything about the iPhone 15 Pro Max is a wow-inducing. At $1,199, the device has a $100 higher starting price than the last model. And while it's nice to see a USB-C port and an end of Lightning, the charging is still relatively slow. So is the iPhone 15 Pro Max the best phone yet? I'll go over all the pros and cons in this in-depth iPhone 15 Pro Max review. The iPhone 15 Pro Max is available for pre-orders and has a release date of September 22. The starting price for the iPhone 15 Pro Max is $1,199, which is $100 more than the iPhone 14 Pro Max, making it the most expensive iPhone ever. Fortunately, that price includes 256GB of storage, which is double the standard amount in last year's flagship. The iPhone 15 Pro Max ditches the stainless steel sides of past Pros for a titanium design, and it's a big deal. Why? Because the Space Age Grade 5 titanium Apple uses is stronger yet lighter. Yes, it's the same titanium used on the Mars rover. The natural titanium color has grown on me thanks to its sci-fi vibe. The blue titanium is nice as well. You also can pick up the phone in silver titanium and black titanium. The iPhone 15 Pro Max weighs 7.8 ounces compared to 8.5 ounces for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I really notice the difference when I have the phone in my hand and in my pocket. The new Pro Max is also more compact, measuring 6.29 by 3.02 by 0.32 inches versus 6.33 by 3.05 by 0.31 inches for its predecessor. So while the new iPhone is a tad thicker, it's easier to use with one hand. It's the first big screen iPhone that doesn't feel like one. The iPhone 15 Pro Max feels better too because of its contoured design. The edges are rounded and less sharp than the last 14 Pro Max, so they dig into your hands less. The bottom edges houses the new USB-C port, which is way overdue, but it's still welcome because you can charge your iPhone, iPad and MacBook with the same cable. The action button, which replaces the ringer switch, is one of the best and also most frustrating things about the iPhone 15 Pro Max. But let me start with the good news. The button still silences calls with a long press if you have the silent mode setting assigned. But in the setting app, you can configure the action button to launch all sorts of things, including the camera, voice recorder, flashlight, translate and more. You can even pick specific actions from within an app, like launching right into a selfie with the camera app. If you want even more options, the action button works in sync with the shortcut app. So you can assign it launch any app you want with a long press or create shortcuts to do things like messages, a specific contact, which is nice to have when I want to let the family know I'm on my way home or running late. My problem with the action button is that it supports only one function at a time. So if you want it to launch the camera, you can't use it also mute calls. My advice to Apple would be to let people perform app shortcuts with a double press and keep the long press for silent mode. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has USB-C charging, and it's about time. Apple has finally retired the Lightning port after over a decade, which Apple is clearly being forced to do against its will due to European regulations. But I do appreciate not having to carry around an extra cable just to charge my iPhone, since so many of my daily devices use USB-C. With this port, you can also charge your other Apple gadgets, including the newly updated AirPods Pro with USB-C charging case. If you want to transfer photos and videos quickly to your Mac or external drive, the iPhone 15 Pro Max supports USB 3 for 10 Gbps speed. That's not exactly state of the art. Several other phones have the newer 3.2 standard. There is actually not that much new with the iPhone 15 Pro Max's display, with the exception of thinner bezels around the 6.7-inch OLED panel. Apple says you still get 1600 nits of peak brightness and 2000 nits outdoors. The ProMotion display continues to offer 120Hz refresh rates, so you get smoother scrolling and animations. And with the always-on display, you can still check notifications, the time and more without having to unlock your iPhone. I also continue to appreciate the dynamic island. It's easy to get real-time updates at the top of the display, such as status of my Uber ride, my United Flight status, or easy access to my Spotify playlist. In our test results, the Pro Max hit a max 1550 nits when playing HDR content, which is about the same as the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The Galaxy S23 Ultra was a slightly dimmer 1444 nits on the same test. Color reproduction remains strong on this panel, which I noticed when watching the trailer for Aquaman 2. The underwater world's colors looked vibrant and the details on Jason Momoa's gleaming costume sharp. In our testing, the iPhone 15 Pro Max reproduced 119.4% of the sRGB color gamut and 84.5% of the more demanding DCI-P3 color space. The Galaxy S23 Ultra hit a lower 111.2% by 78.8% in natural mode, but a higher 193% by 136.7% in vivid mode. The iPhone 15 Pro Max's display offers more accurate colors as it earned a Delta E score of 0.14. The Galaxy S23 Ultra notched at 0.3. The iPhone 15 Pro Max biggest camera upgrade has it playing zoom catch up with the competitions, but it arguably surpasses all the best camera phones in over quality. There's a larger main sensor for the 48 megapixel camera, which now shoots 24 megapixel photos by default, but the Pro Max also lets you choose from 48 megapixel HEIF to save space or Pro RAW for more creative control. The main camera also gives you 3 shooting options: 24mm, 28mm and 25mm, and you can pick which one by tapping the 1x button to toggle between them. In addition, the iPhone 15 Pro Max's camera is smart enough to sense depth info, so you don't have to engage portrait mode to take a portrait of a person or pet. You can also change the focus point of your shot after the fact. Let's start with the zoom. A new tetra prism lens on the iPhone 15 Pro Max achieves a 5x optical zoom, which is big jump up from the 3x on the previous model and the regular iPhone 15 Pro. You also get a max of 25x digital zoom, up from 15x on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. In our side-by-side testing, the Galaxy S23 Ultra, the iPhone 15 Pro Max delivered a sharper and warmer picture at 5x, but at 25x digital zoom, the iPhone's shot has more noise and less definition than Samsung's. What impresses me the most is the iPhone 15 Pro Max night mode performance, as you'll see in these comparison shots. Last but not least, the iPhone 15 Pro Max's ultra-wide camera gets a modest upgrade with a new anti-reflective coating. It does a great job handling the sun coming in from the left side of the frame with a nice gradation of colors in the blue sky, and both the wooden posts in the foreground and the building on the right look sharper. The warmer color profile might not be for everyone though. The iPhone 15 Pro Max packs a number of video upgrades. Cinematic mode now supports digital zoom up to 3x, and pros will appreciate the ability to export ProRes footage via USB-C at up to 4K and 60 frames per second. Based on my testing, the iPhone 15 Pro Max offers breathtaking video quality, and the 5x zoom lets you get closer to the action than ever before. Check out this 4K clip. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has the potential to be the best gaming phone ever, and that's thanks to the new A17 Pro chip. Yes, Apple's latest silicon offers 10% faster CPU speed and twice as fast machine learning performance, but the all-new 6-core GPU is the biggest deal. You can literally play console quality games complete with ray tracing technology for the most realistic lighting effect on a phone. Check out the gameplay in Diablo Immortal, which is fluid with stunning graphics and lifelike reflections. The Resident Evil Village demo I tried was equally as scary and immersive as the title on my Xbox Series X, though the touch controls were tough to get used to. On Geekbench, which measures overall performance, the iPhone 15 Pro Max notched a single-core score of 2783 and a multi-core score of 6945. That's a substantial leap from the 1396 by 4082 showing on the Galaxy S23 Ultra Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, and it's also well above the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which was 1882 at single core and 5333 at multi-core. The iPhone 15 Pro Max's graphics scores were even more impressive as it hit 92.2 frames per second in 3D Mark Wildlife Unlimited with an overall score of 15,399. That's about 25% faster than the iPhone 14 Pro Max and also beat the Galaxy S23 Ultra's 87 FPS and 14,611. We also time how long it takes to transcode a 4K video to 1080p in the Adobe Premiere Rush app. The iPhone 15 Pro Max needed just 24.5 seconds to finish compared to 30 seconds for the iPhone 14 Pro Max and 39 seconds of the Samsung. The iPhone 15 Pro Max somehow eclipsed the epic battery life from the iPhone 14 Pro Max. In our battery testing, which involves continuous web surfing over 5G, the new Pro lasted a whopping 14 hours and 2 minutes. The previous model endured for 13 hours and 39 minutes. This runtime is also about an hour longer than the Galaxy S23 Ultra, so the iPhone 15 Pro Max easily makes our best phone battery life list and is near the very top. Unfortunately, the iPhone 15 Pro Max still offers the same 20-watt charging speeds. Apple says you should get to 50% in 30 minutes, but we got only 41%. Other Android phones offer faster charging. For example, the Galaxy S23 Ultra got to 57% in the same amount of time with its 45-watt charger. The iPhone 15 Pro Max actually isn't just an iterative upgrade for a change. You get a stronger and lighter design from titanium that makes a big differences in everyday use, as well as a smart replacement for the ringer switch in the action button. Based on my camera testing, the iPhone 15 Pro Max arguably offers the best photo quality around, especially in low light, and the bigger 5x zoom is a great upgrade I have been waiting for, even if the digital zoom could be a bit sharper. Add in the powerful A17 Pro chip for next-gen gaming, USB-C port and super long battery life, and you have the best iPhone money can buy. Yes, the iPhone 15 Pro is good, but I'd rather have the longer endurance, bigger screen and smaller zoom.